Hey guys, the time is here. So I have my best of the year for 2025 list ready to go. These are my top 10 favorite films of the year. I also have quite a few honorable mentions I want to bring up before I start the list. So I am finally ready to go here. I apologize for those who've been kind of waiting around for this review or for this video to finally be uploaded to YouTube. Just want to make sure I saw as many 2025 films as I could because there was some titles, but by the time New Year's got around that I wasn't able to get around to by then. So I want to make sure I got caught up with those films. Though I didn't get around to seeing every single film from 2025, I did for the most part was able to see the ones that I was really interested in seeing. So I feel like I have 10 films on my list here that really do kind of represent my taste in films and what I feel was truly kind of the best films of 2025 as a film year. But before we go into those, I do want to bring up my honorable mentions because, like I said, I do have quite a few of them. And they are the Lilo and Stitch remake, the How to Train Your Dragon remake, Together, F1 the movie, The Electric State, Marvel's Thunderbolts, Captain America Brave New World, Good Boy, the 2025 film from Shudder, Fantastic Four, The First Steps, a Minecraft movie, The Black Phone 2, one that's going to surprise people that didn't make my top 10, but I really enjoyed it, was One Battle After Another, Blue Moon, Shelby Oaks, The Running Man Reboot, Wicked for Good, The Smashing Machine, Jay Kelly, Anaconda the Reboot, Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery, and Frankenstein the Remake. All are great films. All are films that you should absolutely check out. I gave all of them a positive review back when I reviewed them earlier in the 2025 year. Um, some of these should be uploaded roughly around the time I upload this video too, because Wake Up Dead Man and Frankenstein were ones I didn't get around to until later. Apologize, I got to get this Microsoft Word thing working here for me. But let's go over the 10 films that I truly feel the best films of 2025. We're going to start at number 10, work our way up to number 1. So the closer we get to number 1, the more I feel like those films are truly the best of the year. So at number 10, we have Superman, the Reboot from James Gunn. Really good movie. I was very happy with this film. I thought it was a good, effective way to reboot the Superman property for Warner Brothers. I can't wait to see what James Gunn does next. I can't wait to see. I think he has Man of Tomorrow for one of his next Superman projects, and I know we're eventually going to get a new Batman and Wonder Woman and all that other stuff too. I think we're also getting Supergirl at some point within the next year or so, also. But I really enjoyed what James Gunn did with it. I liked how he really brought Superman into modern day. Really had some interesting ideas. Really brought up the idea of what if Superman was a hero we got later on, and we got other heroes way earlier than he came around to help us out for Metropolis and stuff like that. Really good Lex Luthor, really good Superman, really good new Lois Lane. Casting was really good all across the board. I really like the idea of like kind of a lived-in universe where other heroes existed before Superman did. I think it's a good, strong start to a new DC universe from James Gunn, and so Superman makes it in at number 10 on my list. At number 9 on my list, we have a film that really did affect me quite a bit while I was watching it and after I was done watching it, and that is the Stephen King film adaptation of The Long Walk. Great film, definitely very effective, very powerful stuff. Definitely makes you think about your own life while you're watching it because there's a lot of characters that very much put their own life on the line to try to win this walking competition that they partake in. Very effective film. Great performances all across the board. David Johnson for sure was a great performance in that movie. Cooper Hoffman, the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, also gives a great performance in this film too. Very effective film. Makes you think about your own life and the things that you're grateful for. Very effective film overall too. The Long Walk makes it in at number 9 on my list. At number 8, we have another film that really affected me emotionally, and that's John Candy, I Like Me. This is a new Amazon documentary about the life of John Candy and his career. Very effective film. I've been a huge John Candy fan my whole life, so it really impacted me quite a bit. They do go over some stuff that was going on with his life, around Home Alone and Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and all these films that I grew up with. They also talk about his last film production, I think it was called Wagons East, and some health problems he was going through while that film was being made, and just how heartbreaking it was and how hard things were for his family at the time that film was being made. Very, very effective documentary. Definitely learn about a lot of stuff he was going through while the film progresses. Very emotional film that very much impacted me, very much made me feel emotional in several different ways. It makes it in at number 8 on my list. Very strong emotional film if you haven't seen it yet. At number 7, we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I still can't believe that Tom Cruise is willing to go through some of these crazy stunts that he does for some of these action movies, specifically the Mission Impossible franchise. He really does kind of put his life on the line to get some of these stunts to work out. It's just a great Mission Impossible film, too. It really does. If this truly is the last installment of the franchise, they wrap things up very effectively. They bring back characters we haven't seen in a long time throughout the franchise. They kind of wrap up Ethan Hunt's story if this is very much the Tom Cruise interpretation of the character, if this is his final story. If they wrap it up with other characters here, like the way that the film suggests, I thought they did a great job with that as well. It makes it in at number 7 on my list. At number 6, we have Zootopia 2. I love this movie. I thought it was a great Disney sequel. I absolutely love the first Zootopia movie. Though this film isn't quite as good as that first Zootopia film, it's still a very effective, very fun sequel that really very much brings Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde back for another great adventure. Great seeing that world again. Great seeing a lot of those characters again. I really love Flash the Sloth and how they reincorporate him into the second movie. Very much love being back in that universe. I really do hope we get a Zootopia 3 at some point. Disney really seems to know how to handle these characters, and it's been making tons of money, so I have a hard time believing that they wouldn't make a third one. But I absolutely love these films. They've knocked it out of the park twice now. Zootopia 2 is number 6 on my list. At number 5, we have Predator: Badlands. I've, for the most part, really enjoyed the Predator franchise so far. I would say the very first Predator film and Predators from Nimrod and Tell have been my two favorite Predator films up to this point. But Predator: Badlands quickly joined the conversation of one of my all-time favorite Predator films, too. I just love the new approach. I think making the Predator the protagonist this time around rather than the antagonist. I like how there's more alien characters this time around. It's not even so much about the humans anymore. They've used the PG-13 rating effectively here. It's mostly creature violence instead of human blood and gore, so that's how they're able to get away with a lot of the violence in this movie. But it's just a fun adventure. The sense of humor they have is effective, and it works for a Predator film. The dialogue they use for the Predator characters felt like something a Predator would have said in any Predator installment that you put them in. Just a very fun, effective film. If this is the future of the Predator franchise, I'm all on board. I had a blast watching this. Definitely very fun and adventurous, and definitely reminds you just how fun science fiction can be when it's done right. So Predator: Badlands makes it in at number 5 on my list. At number 4, we have a film that I wish more people saw because I feel like not a lot of people talk about it right now, especially with Oscar season coming around. I really was kind of hoping for more Oscar buzz for this film, and that's the film Roofman with Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst. Great film, absolutely a story worth telling, based on a true story, and it's one of those things where when you look it up, a lot of that stuff really did happen. And so it really is an effective story of what someone has to go through to survive, what this guy went through when his life got challenged, where people were starting to pick up on the fact that he was this rooftop robber that could break into buildings, and kind of his identity was potentially almost gonna ruin his life, and how he kind of ruined his relationships with other people because of it and stuff too. Just a very effective film that really makes you grateful for all the good stuff going on in your life. Definitely a very effective true story that really impacts you in more ways than one. So Roofman makes it in at number 4 on my list. At number 3, we have the film Sinners from Ryan Coogler. Absolutely love Ryan Coogler. He's pretty much made almost every film he's directed up to this point I've really enjoyed. And he makes another great directorial effort with Sinners. Just a great vampire film, a great period piece film, something that I really don't even normally get very invested in. I'm not a big period piece kind of guy, but this time around they really made that very interesting to me. Michael B. Jordan plays 2 great roles in this movie. Haley Steinfeld is very good in the movie. They definitely go on many satisfying directions within the story that's very satisfying as a viewer, whether you're there for the vampire stuff, whether you're there for the stuff that the Michael B. Jordan brothers get involved in that they get in trouble with. Just a very satisfying, effective film with great action scenes, great special effects, great visual effects, great use of setting, great use of time period, great use of music. Just a very, very well made movie. So it clearly makes it in at number 3 on my list. It's a very, very strong, effective film. At number 2 on my list, we have another great Stephen King adaptation here, and that is The Life of Chuck. I really wish more people saw this film. It sounds like not a lot of people saw it. Not a lot of people put it on their top 10 for best of the year. But I got to tell you, this film really impacted me in so many great ways. It's one of those films where wherever you are in life, it just makes it a little bit better for you, whether it's the best time of your life or the worst time of your life. It really does remind you of why it's important to live your life. There really is a lot of great scenes where this Chuck character finds out about his fate and figures out, what he wants to do with his life and how he's going to make other people happy and how he's really going to live his life to the fullest based on the amount of time he has left based off of his fate that he eventually finds out about. Just a very effective film that really impacted me emotionally. It really made me feel better about myself after watching it. It really made me feel better about the world I was living in after watching it. I also like, too, how there's really not... I guess maybe there is a couple of antagonist characters, but for the most part, that really... almost every character in it is a good person, and like almost every character in it serves the purpose of the story really well and does something effective that impacts you emotionally while you're watching it. Just a very, very effective film that I highly recommend seeing if you haven't seen it yet. The Life of Chuck absolutely makes it in at number 2 on my list. But at number 1 on my list, the film that I feel is the most effective film of 2025, and I actually saw it twice in theaters because I loved it that much, and that's not normally something that I do with most movies. I usually just wait for the Blu-ray or DVD to come out to watch it for additional times. But that's the film Weapons. I love this film. I just love the film. I've seen it multiple times now. I own a physical media copy of it, and I absolutely love it. It's on HBO Max now. For those who have that streaming service, you could watch it there. Just original. It's fun. It's well written. The characters are well realized. The Aunt Gladys character, played by the great Amy Madigan, is just absolutely fantastic. I think she even won an award recently for the Critics' Choice Awards, very deservingly so. I just can't wait to see what Zach Cregger does next. He's one of our most original filmmakers right now. I loved what he did with Barbarian, and I loved even more what he did with Weapons. Just a terrific film that absolutely needs to be seen by as many people as possible. If you're interested in filmmaking, if you're interested in writing, if you're interested in good stories, Weapons is all those things. And I think that's just why I love it so much. It's so original. You really have no idea where it's going while you're watching it, and I do mean that as a good thing. And it's just such a well-written film that is scary and funny and dramatic, and you care about the characters, and I just have nothing but compliments for that movie. It's just so brilliantly well-directed and written. So if you haven't seen Weapons, it's absolutely number 1 on my list, and it's my favorite film of 2025. So that's my list, you guys. Let me know down below what some of your favorite films of 2025 were. Like I said, I had tons of honorable mentions. Also were films that I recommend seeing if you haven't seen those yet. But these were the 10 films I really, truly did feel were the best films of the year. Once again, they were Superman, The Long Walk, John Candy, I Like Me, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, Zootopia 2, Predator Badlands, Roofman, Sinners, The Life of Chuck, and Weapons. So if you haven't seen any of those films yet, absolutely do yourself a favor and do so. And I can't wait to see you back here in 2026 for more film reviews. And hopefully 2026 will also give us some great films as well.